Good day, everyone. I'm just going to share something about being at the bottom of the mountain, on top of the mountain, and how Dad explained it to me when I was struggling to understand the Ten Commandments. And yeah, what was his heart behind it? Again, if you haven't listened to my intro video, please do so. It's important just to understand why I share this and that I'm not trying to be correct. And this is not to be fact checked or anything. This is just how he explained it to me. And I'm just sharing it for the purpose of maybe it makes sense to you. But he really spoke to me about this, about your state of heart and how do you see the Father. If you see the Father incorrectly, you will get anything that's from him. You will read it through that lens and you will read it through an incorrect lens. Example, I asked about the Ten Commandments and he said, maybe think about it. The guys were at the bottom of the mountain. They didn't want to go up with Moses. They said, Moses, no, you go. Send someone else to go get something from God. Bring it down and we will hear what God say here at the bottom, and then we will do that. We will apply that. And if you think about it, that's pretty much how most of Christianity works today, or most of religion. We go to a place, building, we say, that pastor, that prophet, that anointed guy, you go up in the week or whatever and come down, or you go read the Bible, interpret it, you come down, and then you tell us what we should do and how it should be interpreted, and then we will do it. And it didn't end well for the Israelites. I think their first act was in any case not in accordance with it, and then a lot of them died. So there's clearly something wrong with that model. Now, Dad explained it to me in this way. He said, okay, read the Ten Commandments a bit. Let's just start with some of the big ones. You shall love the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. I think I might quote it incorrectly. You shall not steal, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery. And I said, okay, yes, I read it. It's quite hectic, but yeah, it's probably good stuff, and it's hard because now I need to keep this law. And he said, no, but if you're at the bottom of the mountain, you will read it as me telling you to do that to please me or to be correct with me. So, but if you go up the mountain, maybe you'll realize that I was saying that about me to you. And that shook me a bit. And that's where he sort of said, like, it's where your heart is at. It's how you view the Father. And that's why it's so important to read everything and understand everything through Christ, through the Son. He is the express image of the Father. Nobody has seen the Father except the Son. So bottom of the mountain, it's again you, and God is distant, and he's telling stuff to you, and it's about you and your performance. If you go up, and maybe he said, just read it from that point of view. And I said, okay, how would that be? And he said, if I read it to you, it would be, I am your God. I will not let any other gods be your God. I want to be your only God. And he said, I shall never murder you. I shall never steal from you. I shall never commit adultery against you. Again, we are the bride of Christ. I shall not. And that immediately, like, whew, okay, wow, it became almost a beautiful thing, where it was a very hard and cold thing just 5 minutes earlier. So if you think at the bottom of the mountain, it's cold, hard, stone tablets. It is what you read it through that perception. Stone is hard, it's distant, it's cold, and it's what you need to do, and there's no relation to it, and it's all based on you. But up the mountain, it was, listen, I am your God, and I'm your only God. I will never murder you. I will marry you and I will love you always. I will never steal from you. And that was like, sure, okay. And all of a sudden, I realized, like, I felt the love of God in that moment. And I was like, that sounds more to the God that I read and I experienced through Jesus or through Christ and that understanding, and I realized all of a sudden that, we might be interpreting everything in that way. It's the same truth, it's the same words, but it depends where you are, is how you receive it and how you apply it. And it can either give you life, or it can give you death. If you do not understand the Father's heart, if you do not understand what Christ came to tell you about the Father, if you don't understand who you are, if you don't understand his way of relating towards you, you will get everything and you will read it through that perceived lens that might be incorrect, and it will not cause life in your life. It might cause death. So again, that's why he said, listen, and he told me, listen, that is the problem. So Israelites, it's a lot like we are today. We are at the bottom, and we say, we've been told so many years about this holy and righteous and strong and just God, and we're sort of a bit scared of him. And we don't really understand the scriptures that well, and especially if we go to Old Testament, it's even more difficult, and we have some guilt and shame and condemnation. So you know what, when we're getting invited to go up the mountain and see the mountain as just, let's say, your consciousness of him, or your understanding of him, or your willingness to open up to him, we say no, we'd rather stay here at the bottom. It's easier. It's easier than to face maybe the rejection of a God or his wrath, or see him face to face, because I feel a bit guilty. It's like, facing your parents directly after you knew you ate from the cookie jar which you're not allowed to eat from. You still carry that guilt and shame. So it's easier to go send a proxy. Moses, you go up. And he's okay with you, and if he's not, you can take the brunt for it, but you'll probably interpret it correctly, and then you come back and you tell us what that God said. And that's distance. That's the thing that Jesus also came to remove. Well, the opposite of that is saying, listen, Jesus came to reveal a truth, that the Father never looked at us in that way. Adam, who told you were naked? As Christ is, so are you in this world. You are now the righteousness of God through Jesus Christ. So now you can actually, if you apply that, you can say, like, listen, I'm going up the mountain. I'm going to open myself up. I don't need to send someone else. I don't have to listen to that guy. I do not have to let him interpret God for me. I can go up. And that is why understanding grace, understanding sins being forgiven and dealt with, and understanding a perfect conscience, if you can listen to Tommy Miller's series on perfect conscience, is so important. Otherwise, you will stay at the bottom of the mountain, and you will fear going up the mountain, and you will live via proxies, and those proxies can the proxies can give you exactly what they got, and they got the right thing. But because you view it from this bottom lens, you even interpret it incorrectly. So you can interpret something good in a bad way, and it will become death unto you. That is why it's so important to go up yourself. That's why it's so important to realize Christ is in you. That's why all of this and all the videos that I'm doing and Matthew is doing, and all that stuff is reconciling you back to the Father, so you know that you can go up directly. And a practical example of this is, I've seen this before in people. You get people who has maybe been told by their parents they're not beautiful, and they actually are beautiful, but they're not beautiful, or they're not as pretty as that girl, the neighbor's girl or whatever, and that sits in that child's heart until they're an adult, and then they interpret everything through that lens. If they have a red dress on that day, you might make a comment and say, I don't really like that red car, it's a bit too much for me. How do they interpret it? The first thing they do is they think, I've got a red dress on, that means that's probably too much for him, that means I'm probably not pretty, I knew it. And that's how they interpret it. The other child's parents always told it, like, you're the most beautiful thing, you're such a pretty girl. And in that same scenario, you'll have the red car come by, you'll make a comment saying that red is a bit much to me. And they'll be like, oh, but I've got red on, but I look good in red, don't I? At least I'm not a car. And so that's how important perception is. And that's how important it is to view the Father through the Son. That's how important it is to understand what Jesus came to tell you, came to give you, and do it through Christ. If you interpret it incorrectly, it's the same thing. You interpret it incorrectly and will be death unto you, but it's actually meant for life. Again, your Father loves you. Another example that he gave me as well, and I'm not saying this is exactly the truth, or there might be multiple revelations in that one revelation, but he also said, like, listen, when God spoke to Abraham and said, take your son and go sacrifice him to me. And at the bottom of the mountain, it was again, okay, I am Abraham, I have this God to please, I need to do the work to please him, and I need to bring my son, and it's about me doing stuff for God, and I'm going to be obedient. When he got up the mountain, God was like, Abraham, what are you doing? I've already provided a sacrifice for you. You don't need to sacrifice your son. So again, if we read it, if we try to understand it through that lens, we need to, instead of trying to get more knowledge about God, we should do that, but maybe we should also change our perception about God so that the knowledge that we already have starts getting into a new light. And I just want to encourage you, like, it is about where you see yourself and where you see yourself in relation to God, and if it's your Father or not, if you're one with him or not, if there's division or not, if there's sin between you or not, all those things that we've been taught and preached. And if you can get past that, you can go up the mountain and you see a bunch of beautiful things. You see the Father for He is. It's almost like walking through I stay in Cape Town, and sometimes it's so interesting. There's some mountains here, not as high as other places in the world, but at the bottom it's like rainy and miserable, and you get up, you climb up, you go for a hike, and all of a sudden you go out of that cloud cover and it's a perfectly sunny day. Like, it's a beautiful sunny day. And I think that's the same thing. At the bottom, if we perceive our Father through our first Adam lens, our guilt and shame lens, our you go up and pastor and come tell us what he says lens, we see the clouds and the rain here at the bottom. But if we're willing to go up, and by go up, open ourselves up to the truth, open ourselves to Christ in you, then we might climb out of the cloud cover and we might see, oh no, there's a beautiful warm sun, and that loving, hot, warm ray is actually my Father, and it's not as I thought it was at the bottom. So yeah, just an encouragement. Ask the Holy Spirit how He can guide you up, how He can change your perception. God doesn't change. The truth doesn't change. Our perception about it changes. You don't even change. Your eternal truth about you being a son of God, you being in Christ before the foundation of the world, you being as Christ is, does not change. But your perception about it changes. Your perception about God changes. Your perception about yourself changes. So we really need to actually work on our perception. And our perception is very difficult to change if we are stuck in first Adam's sin consciousness and we do not listen to Jesus, who dealt with it and also showed us the Father that is not the way that we thought He was. Have a great day, and I hope this brings you some revelation and joy.